Welcome back to Moto Photo Adventures, everybody. You may remember one of the very first videos that we did about the brand new Aprilia Tuareg 660 when we involved... Welcome back to Moto Photo Adventures, everybody. If you recall correctly, one of the very first videos that we did about our brand new project bike, the Tuareg 660, involved changing the shifter pivot bolt. And I'll tell you that it was one of the very first things that we did because it's a very important change to make to this motorcycle. However, we made a big error.
You just said you had made a mistake.
I did.
So I wanted to do an update to that video and basically address the questions and make the changes that are necessary. Number one is I had a lot of people asking me, well, that doesn't make much sense. Why are you changing the shifter pivot bolt out for a different, stronger bolt when you could just carry a spare bolt with you? Well, the problem with that is the bolt will break. It'll shear off right at the part where the threads go in. So if you're out in the middle of the wilderness somewhere, and your shifter gets stuck on a root and it shears off, having a spare bolt doesn't help you because you need a power drill to drill that old broken off tip out and an extractor piece to get that out. I mean, you need a garage basically to get that taken care of. A spare bolt's not going to do you any good when you have half a bolt stuck inside and you can't get it out. In fact, the shifter pivot bolt is one of the most important changes, so much so that I bought another one. And I'm going to tack on the other video so you guys can watch the install process. But just to remind you, this is a TNT ISP AP14 KIT that I got from AF1 Racing. After installing it on the shifter pivot side, I decided it was such an important upgrade, I wanted to get a second one to install on the brake lever side because essentially the same problem can happen with the brake lever if you drop your bike on the right side. So that addresses the question you guys kept asking me about the original video. But I did also get an email from my friend at AF1 Racing, and he said that you should also use an anti-seize compound when installing titanium fittings into your bike. Over the long haul, this just prevents the fitting from getting stuck. Last but not least, we also gave you an incorrect torque setting. When you are tightening this down, I said to use like 110 or something crazy Newton meters of torque for this little tiny bolt. And the truth is I got that erroneously off of a forum. And as you all know, we can't believe everything that we read on the interwebs. So my friends at AF1 Racing were kind enough to look up the correct specs from the OEM manufacturer, and they said you want to use 25 Newton meters of torque when you're using this bolt. Fear not, I did not tighten my original shifter to 110. Now that we've cleared the air a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and install this bolt on the brake lever side. You don't need to see that. It's the same process as the shift lever side. So I'm going to drop the video from the original in right here, and you guys can watch the install process from that.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
If you are familiar with this Tuareg 660, it's an amazing machine, and you may or may not have heard, but there's a weakness. And that little weakness is the shifter pivot bolt. So a lot of people on the internet have talked about how when they drop their bikes, the gear shifter catches on a root or something, and the bolt that holds that shifter tends to break. So number one, super easy. I've got a titanium pivot bolt that we're going to be replacing on this thing. It should be the first thing you do on this bike.
One thing, just one thing.
Okay, so where do you go to get a replacement bolt for this particular piece? You definitely want to go to AF1 Racing. AF1 Racing, based out of Austin, Texas, is kind of like the place to go for Aprilia parts. There are not a lot of dealers in America, and there are not a lot of places that you can get parts. Parts are going to be a little bit pricier and a little bit harder to get for an Aprilia because they're not as popular a brand as a Honda or Yamaha or Suzuki or what have you. So just a quick tip for you, check out AF1 Racing. They have everything you need. And what you're going to want to get is this titanium pivot bolt. All right, I'm going to read to you the part number. The part number is TNT ISP AP 14 KIT. That's TNT ISP AP 14 KIT. All right, so that's what you want to order. I'll throw that up on the screen for you. And you're going to be getting this titanium bolt. Now, it seems like a lot of money to spend on a simple bolt, but if you break this gear shifter and you're out in the middle of a backcountry discovery route trip somewhere, your trip is pretty much done, unless you want to limp home the rest of the trip in whatever gear you happen to be in, you know, because you're not shifting gears. So pick one of these up. It's a little bit of a sting because it's titanium, but at least you know you're not going to be stranded on the trail. Now, here's how to fix it. Here's your gear shift lever, and you can see that Aprilia gives us a really nice lever. It's actually a very nice product, but this bolt tends to be a weakness and seems to break on a lot of people's trips. So we're going to take this gear shift pivot bolt out and replace it with this titanium one. The only tools you need are a 6mm Allen wrench, there's the old pivot bolt, and you'll see there's a rubber washer around it. So you want to take that rubber washer off and put it on the new titanium pivot bolt. Add a little dab of grease. And then reinsert the new bolt. Once that new bolt is in, grab your torque wrench, and it's going to be calling for 110 Newton meters, which is pretty close to about 81 foot-pounds of torque. And you can just check and make sure that the play on this is good, not too much wiggle, everything is secure. You'll notice I've got the quick shifter installed on mine. Absolutely love the quick shifter. If you don't have the quick shifter yet on your Aprilia Tuareg, you are missing out on a lot of fun. But that's all I've got for you guys today. Just a quick little tip on how to make a quick improvement that will keep you from being stranded in the middle of the woods. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button real quick, and I'll catch you on the next one as we continue to build out our Aprilia Tuareg.
Moto.